No, this title is not a cop-out. I am an idiot, and a lot of that can be said with the way I scheduled videos today, as well as what I did with my fantasy team. Before we get underway with this post-game video, which I'm not even really going to call a post-game video per se, I mean, it's a video being made after the game, but really, I didn't watch this one. I had ball hockey to go to, last one of the year, gotta burn off some of that delicious Christmas dinner, so I decided to get some cardio in tonight rather than watch the Vancouver Canucks game. So I didn't see most of this. But when it comes to the decisions that went into today, they all kind of sucked from my perspective. For one, I uploaded a video talking about the Vancouver Canucks in a very positive light just hours before the game. So if you wanted to see a more positive video on Vancouver, then hey, check out the Jonathan Lekaramaki World Junior update, because that video, I feel like, got buried in the algorithm since there was a Canucks game that went on immediately after it was published. Plus, it's a lot more of a fun watch than this one's going to be, or than anything is going to be regarding this Canucks and Flyers game from tonight. Also, Part 2, why I'm an idiot, is because you know why everything went down the way it did for Vancouver? You know why the Canucks ended up losing this game? It's because I dropped Joel Farabee in fantasy and picked up Andrei Kuzmenko. There you go. Pats on the back, everybody. I'll be honest as to how everything plays into tonight. I've been clamoring and raving about my fantasy team, and I know y'all find it annoying, but this time it really does play into how I feel the hockey gods decided to toss everything to the wall for today's game. You see, last week, or a week and a half ago, before the break, I ended up dropping Andrei Kuzmenko from my squad because I was saying, hey, the guy is not scoring, the guy isn't doing well, he is completely out, and he's not even playing, like he's getting scratched in these games, so what's the point in keeping him in the lineup? I grabbed Joel Farabee from the Philadelphia Flyers after dropping Andrei Kuzmenko, and Farabee admittedly wasn't doing all too hot for me. He was doing well before I picked him up, but after I picked him up, he decided to not really produce as much, which I kind of was ticked off about, and things got even crazier when, on the last game before the break, Andrei Kuzmenko, who was back in the lineup, decided to score 2 goals. I didn't have him on my team anymore, and I even tweeted out, hey, the reason Andrei Kuzmenko got these markers is because I dropped him in fantasy. That's why. You're welcome, Vancouver fans. And after Kuzmenko got the 2 goals, I was like, okay, screw this. I am dropping Farabee. I'm getting Kuzmenko back. Kuzmenko is by far the worst player on my team in terms of point output because he doesn't do anything compared to everybody else. But I've got Miller, Petey, Hughes, and Dakota Joshua. Why not add one more for Andrei Kuzmenko? Plus, my team is good enough and we're winning a lot that I can use up one of my roster spots for a quote-unquote bad player. On the off chance that he actually does improve and become better, it's okay. So I dropped Farabee for Kuzmenko heading into tonight's game, and what happens? We have ourselves a Joel Farabee goal, Kuzmenko doesn't do anything, and the Flyers end up winning with a pretty commanding score of 4-1. Not great. Now again, I didn't watch much of this game live. I listened on the radio as I was driving from ball hockey, and I will say, once I decided to turn the radio on, it was the start of the third period. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda, I believe it was, they were talking about how the Vancouver Canucks pretty much lost the second period in the span of about 2 minutes. It started with a power play goal where Casey DeSmith was screened, it went through everybody, and then you had 2 quick Philadelphia Flyers goals immediately after, giving the Flyers a stranglehold on this game and putting the Canucks in a very tough spot. Now, once I was driving back, we had ourselves a third period that begun with a Dakota Joshua feed to Teddy Blueger, and that was great. I was like, yeah, I got fantasy points right there. Quinn Hughes, Dakota Joshua, I have them both on my team. Quinn Hughes, I believe, gets the 3rd fastest record to 250 assists in an NHL career to start out a season for a defenseman, only behind Bobby Orr and Brian Leetch, something like that. I saw that stat before the day went on, so I was like, yeah, that's a great one. But either way, it's Tyler Myers with the active stick who breaks the play up. Quinn Hughes goes up to Joshua. Joshua into the middle for Blueger, who scores to bring the Canucks within 2. This all happens within 25 seconds of the third period starting. And then the Vancouver Canucks go on the power play. They win the faceoff. Ryan Poehling jumps onto the puck, centers it out for Garnet Hathaway, who finds himself all alone in front, and that is the shorthanded goal, which seals the deal. Vancouver loses this game 4-1, and I don't know, I mean, you're allowed to have a dud game, right? You're allowed to have bad games. It's just, I don't know, when it comes to a night like this is definitely not the way Canucks fans would have wanted to see the team end off 2023, but if there is a time to start losing games and whatever, it's probably easier to stomach that when the Canucks literally are still tied for first in the entire National Hockey League. Now, the Rangers have 49 points in 33 games, the Canucks 49 points in 36 games. The Vegas Golden Knights won tonight, they have 49 points in 37 games, so there is a three-way tie for first in the NHL in points. If you go over to points percentage, Vancouver is fourth in the NHL with their 49 points, which is good, still good, it's just you don't want to see the teams that are at the top losing games in regulation, especially to this magnitude. But I'll say this as well. Heading into tonight's game, I was kind of thinking, the Canucks have a good chance to lose this one. Philadelphia has been good. Philadelphia handed Vancouver their first loss of the season, the 2-0 shutout defeat in Philly. So when it comes to Vancouver and John Tortorella, there's a good chance that Tortorella's team is going to give the Canucks a good fight, and that's exactly what appeared to happen here in the Flyers and Canucks game. Now, going over to Money Puck, seeing what happened in the Deserve to Win-O-meter, the Canucks actually did outchance the Flyers 67% to 34, but at the end of the day, it's the actual goals that count. Expected goals don't win you hockey games, and the Flyers got 3 of them in quick succession to really pry this game wide open at the end of the second period there. Vancouver had chances, but they weren't able to beat Carter Hart. They only did so once. So at the end of the day, Vancouver comes out of this game with a pretty bad showcase. I will say that for my fantasy sake, I am kind of satisfied. JT Miller had a bunch of hits, which is good for me. He had Dakota Joshua with the assist, the block, and a bunch of hits as well, which is good. Elias Pettersson did not do much. 2 shots and a hit, not great for Petey. If we go over to Andrei Kuzmenko, the guy that I picked up, he had a hit and a shot, so that's it. Joel Farabee, meanwhile, gets a goal, so good on him. Immediately doing well after I drop him. That's how fantasy works, doesn't it? Hockey gods always have it out for people who decide to drop players and get guys back. The moment I dropped Andrei Kuzmenko, he scored 2 goals upon his return, and the moment I picked him back up, the guy that I dropped for him ends up getting a goal against Vancouver. So, yeah, poetic. If you want some more positive Canucks talk, then hey, you can head over to the World Junior Update video wherein we talked about Lekkerimäki, Elias Pettersson, and Tom Willander. A lot of Canucks super Swedes going out there at the World Juniors doing their thing. They play again tomorrow morning, so we'll see whether or not those Canucks are going to be able to put up better results than the Canucks we're seeing on paper. They're playing Canada, which is going to be tough. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks losing to the Philadelphia Flyers in a game that I didn't even see, but one wherein I have some expressed disappointment in nevertheless. If you're a Flyers fan, by the way, if you're stumbling upon this video, you guys got a good team. I was scared of you guys, and the result on paper definitely dictates why that is. So, you guys got to be happy with the way your team is playing this season. Vancouver fans, though, just gotta rebound, right? Next year, new year, Ottawa Senators, that is the game where Vancouver hopefully goes out there and gets back to their winning ways. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks and the Flyers. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.